I think I've been around so long that it just feels like an incline forever. People are doing and trying new things. I've got a lot of respect for people who want to push the boundaries, test the limits, bring new things, challenge like status quo. I think it just underscores like that there's so much potential in head-to-head format. There's no reason why cubing can't just be some sort of mainstream spectator thing. For me, just like watching regular comps, regular WCA comps, I can't really get into that.
I'm interested in your take on, or your thoughts around what competitive cubing looks like in the current landscape. So we've got, people are interested in SSL, people are interested in PSL, the Premier Speedcubing League, of course, and people like Speedcubing TV and, of course, Clicky Studios as well are really working on presenting cubing to an online audience in different ways, and they're trying to make it more accessible. What have you observed, or what are your thoughts about, like, where, I suppose, just the state of cubing now in terms of as a spectator sport? Where do you think we are compared to where we were? Because you've of course come through Red Bull, and you've then later competed in SSL. What are you thinking when you're sitting back and you're looking at speed cubing as a whole now, and you're seeing what's going on at the competitive end? What's your take on where we are at the moment? Are we in a peak? Are we in a trough? Where are we?
I think I've been around so long that it just feels like an incline forever, rather than any sort of like peak and trough. I think it's cool that people are like doing and trying new things. I've got a lot of respect for people who want to, push the boundaries, test the limits, bring new things, challenge like status quo, because it's exciting. And these things, like you say, they don't always work out. Red Bull, whether it was timing or lack of interest from the brand, that didn't end up being a success. It was a success at the time, but didn't continue. But I think there was potential there, and maybe it was just a little bit early for its time. And so, yeah, I mean, I tune into all this stuff. Like, I follow cubing still very closely. I'll check, WCA comps. I watched the second PSL and a bit of the first. Super entertaining, in my view. And I think it just underscores like that there's so much potential in the head-to-head format. Again, I'm one of these people that I think there's no reason why cubing can't just be some sort of mainstream spectator thing. There's so much other random stuff that, at least someone like me, I can tune in for hours and watch some random online, competition of something that I've never even heard of, and get entertained. So I think with the right broadcast and the right commentary and the right format, I think there's no reason why cubing can't be something absolutely massive. I feel like there's always been a few barriers. And the contrast, one of the interesting contrasts or comparators I thought was last November, I think it was, and last October, I was just brainwriting YouTube one night, like before bed, and there was this like GeoGuessr World Championship. I'm like, I can't remember what's GeoGuessr, like it's some online game. And then I tuned in, I was hooked.
Yeah.
I didn't know the first thing about it, I didn't know the rules, didn't know the strategies, but just the way that it was put together. And I was like, this is a no-brainer. But I think the thing that works for something like that is that the corporate or the commercial brand GeoGuessr is the one that's doing the competition itself. So it's like a win-win for everyone. Like they're promoting their brand and bringing this fantastic spectator event. Whereas with cubing, it's a little bit different because you've got WCA, it's a non-profit. You've got Rubik's, but no one uses the Rubik's cubes, so it's not as clean. There's not as much incentive for, and there's multiple Chinese cubing brands. So there's not there's not one entity or one group that's incentivized to make it big, and so you end up with this little bit of just scattergun approach. But yeah, as long as cubing itself continues to grow, like I'm sure there'll be something eventually that blows up and becomes mainstream. Cubing's still pretty young, but yeah, we'll see. It's exciting.
Yeah, I think that's what people forget. Hey, it is still young. The WCA is still young relatively. The head-to-head format is still young. Red Bull was definitely before its time, I think. And I think Red Bull was great, but in the way that it put cubing in front of new people. Like people still occasionally will send me the Weir Brothers video, when they finished like 100th off or whatever it was, when they were going head to head. So the impact of that is still there. It's unfortunate that there were some execution errors, I suppose, in the way that they collaborated or didn't with WCA. But I think there's blame on both sides there potentially. I wouldn't blame either side in particular for that. But I am all about getting it in front of more people in a way that is entertaining. And your GeoGuessr example is so on point there as well. Like, yeah, the ridiculous stuff I end up watching. Like I've talked about the cornhole example, that game Cornhole in America, where people are throwing beanbags into a hole. They've made that into a thing. You know what I mean? Like they can do it with anything. Darts is huge. What is darts? What is that? It's like,
I love the darts.
Yeah, I'm from a big darts family, so I'm all in on that one, obviously. But really, if you break it down, it's just like, wait a minute, this is silly. Well, how is this? Why is this huge and this isn't huge? What's the real difference here? And it's fascinating watching it all happen, and
and I think done the right way that WCA, not the whole comps, but like at the finals of a world championship or something, there. And maybe it's just me because I know all the competitors and I know all the times and everything like that. But if it's done the right way and broadcasted, I think the final afternoon or the finals of big major championships can be very compelling viewing.
Yeah.
With the tension and the pressure that builds up. And so I'm pretty excited to see what the world's stream does this year. But yeah, but then for me, just like watching regular WCA comps, I can't really get into that as much. Maybe it's just like it's too much or it's saturation. Or you need, like, the commentary is so crucial as well. You need someone that can hold an audience and really deliver on that. Because if it's just, if it's not compelling and if it's not a particularly tense or high stakes event, even I kind of tune out sometimes.
Yeah, well, it's got to be. I feel like it's a combination of commentary and switching, like the camera switcher. They need to be working so well together, because what I often find is with watching a regular competition, you're trying to essentially find. It's not a needle in a haystack, unless the needle is what you're really looking for. I'm not sure what my metaphor is, but you're just sitting there waiting for the camera switcher and the commentator to be onto it, where you're like, yes, here's the person we're watching in this round, because you don't necessarily want to. You kind of want those solves to be coordinated and to an extent like back to back. You want to be able to have some focus, I think. And that's a big job. Like, that's not an easy job to create a broadcast outcome out of a regular WCA competition, which is optimized for the competitors.
Yeah. Exactly. The purpose is entirely mismatched. The purpose of WCA competitions is to get as many people into cubing, to compete, to get their times recorded, to do as many solves as they can, not to create a broadcast.
Yeah.
Except for like major championships and worlds and stuff like that.